Hello, world, and welcome back to Real Talk with Rajon, where nothing's off limits. I am your host, Rajon Lewis. I want to thank you for coming in and joining me today. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Word to Jay-Z. Now, here on Real Talk, everything is debatable, so on any given week, we could be discussing anything from music to sports to politics. You name it, we'll discuss it. Yeah, man. So, for those who can hear the music, this music is made by none other than my good homeboy, Daniel, aka Digger Jones. This track is called Jazz Lounge, and it sets the tune that I want for the show, so I love this track. For those who are new to the show, I break my show down into sections. The first part of the show is current events and topics. The second segment is normally relationship and family segments, and then I often have an audience question answer segment. So this is a time where if you wanted to call in to be a part of the audience question segment of the show, you can write down this number. It's 843-900-6847. That's 843-900-6847. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, so let's get down to it. So I wanted to thank everybody. We'll start off by thanking everybody who's been really supportive. We had the Real Talk with Rajon shirts, that went out and went on sale. That went on sale, and the order was placed on June 26th, and we ended up selling 64 shirts. And the shirts are coming in. I have the box of shirts of the people who got them sent to me, so I'm getting those out. But I'm loving the pictures. If you ordered a shirt, please post your picture. Like nothing is like making my day more like than turning on turning on the internet and seeing somebody with a Real Talk shirt or seeing somebody out with a Real Talk shirt. With that in mind, shout out to James Johnson. We both had to speak at New Horizon Ministries in Somerville, South Carolina, and he actually wore his shirt during his speech, and that meant so much to me to have that support, and it's just amazing. It's one thing for somebody to give you money; it's a whole other thing for somebody to publicly support you in that way. So thank you guys for that. With that in mind, let's get to the topics, all right? So I wanted to start off with the softball. And really, the softball I'm going to start off with is something that's pretty popular in the community, that at least the people that I know, is going down to CIAA, the CIAA tournament, which used to take place in Charlotte, but apparently no longer will be. So I'm going to read the article for you, and I did post it in the link in the comment section. It says the CIAA tournament will be leaving the Queen City in 2021. The Board of Directors tournament subcommittee announced on Monday. That was July 9th, and this article comes from Fox 46. So shout out to Fox 46. The organization has formally launched the bidding process to find the next host city for the annual men's and women's basketball tournament. Now, this tournament has been hosted in Charlotte since 2006. And in 2018, the tournament brought over 140,000 fans to Charlotte during the week of the competition, with an economic impact of $50.5 million. Wow. And it also said that since the year 2000, the CIAA tournament has generated over $650 million in economic impact and an average of $500 million in the state of North Carolina. Now, you may ask yourself, with all that good stuff that's going on in the city of Charlotte as it pertains to the CIAA tournament, with them making all this money and having all these advances, why would they want to get rid of it? I'm going to drink this water while you try to figure it out. So, y'all know how we do a Real Talk with Rajon. You name it, we discuss it. And this is something worth discussing because this goes back to an issue that I think is becoming more and more prevalent and more visible. If you haven't been following it, CIAA pretty much became a big party weekend in Charlotte. I remember looking at like articles about the games, and people weren't really going to the games as much as they were going to the day parties and the night parties and the morning parties and all the parties that were to be had during the week. And of course, the CIAA tournament mostly represents colleges that are historically African-American, HBCUs for the most part. So the clientele in the Charlotte area wasn't, I guess what you could say, the desired demographic that they were looking for. So they've been looking for a way to get rid of this tournament for quite some time in Charlotte. And I guess last year was the last straw. I even saw articles where last year they were boosting up the fact that like people were like raising their prices for CIAA tournament. There was like a CIAA tax, and if you don't believe me, you can look it up. It's really easy to find. There was a CIAA tax that they put on like at restaurants. You go to a restaurant, you buy your meal, and you'd have your regular price of food, and then there would be a thing that said CIAA tax. Now, what that meant, I don't know how that got approved by law to be able to do that, because that has to be approved in legislation. I don't know, but it was a fact. All right, the fact of the matter, and it's something that reeks of really bad stuff, to be honest with you. It's really bad juju to have that kind of thing out there, but it was. So that's no longer going to be there. So they're actually looking at different cities. Now I know that it says just in the article, it says that they were looking at let me see. Sorry, let me find where it said. I know it said that they were looking at cities in South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, and New York, because that's the footprint of the CIAA institutions: North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and now South Carolina. So that's where the CIAA tournament is. Will it become as big of a thing in those places as it has been in Charlotte? I don't know, but I do know that to see it moving for the reasons that it is moving is unfortunate. So that's what's going on with the CIAA tournament. For those who enjoyed it, I never went because it's really not my type of party. I really don't go out like that, and I don't. If I were to go, I would go for the game. I would go for the games, and we have the CAA tournament right here. And as a College of Charleston graduate, I got to check out those games because that's a pretty big thing for me. Anyway, shout out to the Cougars. But yeah, if you are a person who has been to the CIAA tournament and you have some insight on this, please take this time to share in the comment section what you think about the CIAA tournament leaving the city of Charlotte. Yeah, man. So thank you again. Just to reset, this is Real Talk with Rajon, and I am your host, Rajon Lewis. I have never been to the CIAA tournament, and I never really planned on going, but I know that there are people who do care about that greatly. So, yeah, that sucks. That sucks. This is Real Talk with Rajon, and I am your host, Rajon Lewis. And the next thing I wanted to move on to is it's something that's been sweeping the nation, which is the Drake In My Feelings Challenge, aka the Kiki, Do You Love Me? Are You Riding? Tell me you're never gonna leave from beside me, and all of that stuff. So like, there's this song by Drake called In My Feelings. I'm gonna share the link for you guys. There's a song by a rap artist named Drake called In My Feelings, and there's been a dance craze that has swept the nation that goes with it. And there's like celebrities from like B-level celebrities to like Will Smith. So like Will Smith changed the game on his. And like when I do my edited version of this, you got to check this out. Well, if you're watching the edited version, then you see it. But Will Smith goes to the top of the London Bridge, I believe it is, and he does the dance that goes with it, and it is so dope. It's so dope. So if you haven't checked that out, that's been pretty amazing. I did post an article from Pop Culture, and it says, what is the In My Feelings Challenge? And this article is written by Victoria Messina of popsugar.com. It says, Step Aside Mannequin Challenge this year has brought the new viral sensation to town, the In My Feelings Challenge, and it requires a bit more effort than simply standing still while Black Beatles plays in the background. It's actually not a hard dance. It's just like a few parts that you got to know. You got to like, Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? So you never leave from beside me because I want you and you do what you want. I need you and you got me in my feelings. And Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Like really, that's all it is. Like, but people do it in so many different ways that really allows it to be entertaining. I've seen several videos. You have it down, Mom? I gotta see your video. You gotta see that. You gotta see that. If you got it, Mom, you gotta do a video and I'll post it on the page. Do that. You saw Ton did his while we were out Friday night. But yeah, the Kiki In My Feelings Challenge. I see Jarvis. Let me go back. It says they are taking it because they aren't capitalizing on it in such a way. I agree. I believe that there's definitely more that they could be doing with the CIAA tournament, but again, that is what it is. But yeah, man, the Kirk Franklin one was really good too. Kirk Franklin and his wife, they were like halfway through it, then they started acting like they were in church, which was really dope. I like that one. There was one with a little person, which may have been one of my favorites. Little person, meaning, a little person. I don't, get into like derogatory terms and stuff, but she killed it. Like, she killed it. And there's actually a compilation of a bunch of them. And I think let me put that, I have that link as well. There's a compilation video that shows a bunch of different ones. So check those out, man. It's taking the nation by storm. It's become very popular. And I haven't done my own video yet, because I try to stay away from these challenges these days, to be honest with you. The last challenge I think I did was they had the gospel music challenge that went around, and I did that one because I was called out by the homie Javon Hyman. Speaking of which, if you got some time on your hands, please do look up the gospel challenge from Javon Hyman. I think that was like 2014 or 2015. It is the funniest thing I've ever watched in my life on television, on the internet. I'm sorry. Anyway, yes, I think that was the last challenge I did. I did the cold water challenge, the ice challenge. I did that one, and I think that's really it. I don't really get into a whole lot of these challenges, man. But they always come up with new, interesting ones, and the Kiki challenge is no different. So shout out to everybody doing the Kiki Do You Love Me challenge, aka the In My Feelings challenge, aka the Drake challenge. But the funny thing about this, right? So, and I think some people have pointed this out, but some people have not pointed this out yet. If you look at what was the discussion around Drake prior to the In My Feelings challenge, the big talk around Drake was about the Pusha T thing. The big talk around Drake was Pusha T and that whole beef thing. And since this has come out, nobody has talked about it. Nobody has spoken about it at all. Nobody's cared about it. So once again, Drake proves that he just finds his way out of these things. Like, Drake is the slipperiest person I've ever seen. Like, Drake might have scales, legit. Like, instead of calling his album Scorpion, he should have called his album Rattlesnake, because he was able to wiggle his way out of another situation which could have been detrimental to him. And you look at these things, and they happen several times. It's crazy. There's a new gospel challenge. Nah, I'm not getting down with that. I mean, I love gospel, and I love gospel music, and I love Christians, but I'm not doing that. Yeah. So tell me if you have a favorite challenge, post that in the comment section. Tell me, what your favorite challenge has been, the ones that you participated in, why you liked it. I know my favorite challenge. I think my favorite challenge was probably the ice bucket challenge, just because there was so much money raised for good causes during the course of the ice bucket challenge. So I really, really, really enjoyed that. So if they come up with another thing like that, where they're like raising money and you have to donate money and stuff like that, if you do it, I may do something like that. But like, as far as the dances and stuff, I'm 36 years old, man. I'm not doing dance challenge videos right now. I don't know. It's just not where I am in my life. And the last thing I need when I try to make a couple moves is for someone to be like, hey, isn't that the guy running for senator, doing the new dance challenge or whatever challenge they got going on? Like, I don't need them kind of problems. Like I say, I leave that to people. I leave that to people. A DGC challenge, huh? The DGC challenge, that could be interesting. Huh? That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. I wonder. You might be onto something, Amanda. You might be something out of, and you might be into something. Yeah, and Scorpion, right? So before I even move to the next topic, Scorpion had 1 billion streams in a week. 1 billion streams in a week. Dude, Drake cannot do wrong. Like, he just can't. Like, you may like him, you may hate him, you may feel whatever you feel. But one thing you got to understand about Drake is, one, Drake knows his fan base, he knows his demographic, and he knows how to get to them and how to give them the product that they're looking for. And really, isn't that all we really want from our artists? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Me and Isis should do the challenge together. That would be dope. Me and Isis doing the challenge together could be dope. Let's see, man, you'll stay young if you keep dancing. Now, I keep dancing. Donna, and thank you for watching, Donna. I really appreciate you watching the show this week. I dance now. Don't get it confused. Please don't let the smooth taste fool you. Yeah. Rajan can dance now. I can dance, but I just don't dance on camera a whole lot these days, just because I'm trying to aim higher in my aspirations for life, and I can't be in these streets doing doing these different challenges. Let's see, comment section. Said yeah, I read that one. Art J, me and Isis should do the challenge together. That would be cool. Me and Isis, we get down, so I don't know. We'll see. The if you saw the movie Black Panther, vote in November challenge. Come on, somebody. Hey, I feel you, Pastor Dixon. Right? We got to vote. We spoke about that a lot last week, and I don't want to go back on that ramp again. But definitely, if you saw Black Panther, let me see your I voted sticker challenge. Like, that would be mad dope for me, and I'm all the way here for it. That's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna move on. So moving on, I'm gonna talk about this situation that happened in the Atlanta airport. So I posted the link. To you spelled Wakanda wrong, Amanda. And normally I'd let that bypass. I'm sorry. Amanda, I love you. It's Wakanda. Wakand. We can't be misspelling Wakanda. All right? It's very important for the culture. Like, for the culture, we can't just be like misspelling Wakanda. All right? Oh, I left that light off. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me. Just realized I left one of my lights off. How y'all ain't tell me I'm dark over here? Anyway, yeah, so we can't be misspelling Wakanda. All right? I love you, Amanda. Wakanda. All right. Anyway, y'all gotta excuse me sometimes. I'm so funny to me sometimes. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So in Atlanta, there was a situation over the weekend where notorious. That's funny. Notorious NFL player Adam Pacman Jones got into a situation in the Atlanta airport. Now, if you don't remember, Pacman Jones was the guy that got in trouble. He got in trouble so many times. Like, he got in trouble for fighting in a strip club. Like, somebody got shot while he was in the strip club, and he was fighting here and he was fighting there. What up, Don? I see you. He was fighting everywhere. He kept getting in fights, kept getting in situations in strip clubs, and to the point where he almost lost his NFL career. It was really bad. But he was walking through the air. But since then, he's really turned over a new leaf and doing a lot better. He went to Atlanta. He's in the Atlanta airport, and the video came up, and I just posted it. Now, he was walking through the Atlanta airport, and apparently he was accosted by some young man who worked for the city of Atlanta airport, like Atlanta International Airport. And this guy is begging him to fight. Now, I never post fight videos. I don't post fight videos. I don't share fight videos. I am anti sharing of that kind of stuff. But this one here, I shared. And this one here, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to tell you why. Because it relates to something that I find very, very, very intriguing, which is this Chihuahua syndrome. Like, people who bark, but can't fight. You got to stop this, because this dude begged for this fight. This dude was in his face. He's clapping his hands, and he's doing this. He threw up his dukes, and he's ready to go, only to get slumped, y'all. For those who don't know what slumped means, I'm going to pause at this time to show that slumped is a rather young urban vernacular term that refers to getting knocked out. Yeah, that happened to him. He got knocked out in the middle of the Atlanta airport on Facebook Live at his job in a fight that he begged for. Who does this? What is up with this generation that we're begging for fights that we can't win? What up, Tiara? Who's begging for fights that they can't win? Trust me, dude. Like, I don't get the logic. Like the dude, like he's known for fighting. You understand me? Like, this ain't the dude that was like, he wasn't walking around in a suit, he wasn't walking around, like he didn't look like Like, and he even told dude, like, nah, like, go ahead, go. You do your thing, whatever. And the dude is begging for it. He's rah, 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 rugger, hoobity hoo ha, as they said on on 8 Mile. Hoobity hoo ha. He's doing all of that. And got slumped. You beg for a fight. Yeah, he pushed him first. And get slumped. You get knocked out. Where they do that at, though? Who is Pacman? Pacman, Adam Pacman Jones. He played for the Bengals, mama. Do better now. You know football. Don't do that. We're going to talk offline about Adam. Anyway, but yeah, man, like, he got slumped. I can't believe he got slumped, bro. He want to sue him? Nah. Because he ended up he was the one, he got fired from his job and he got arrested. So you lose on so many levels. You beg for a fight that's being recorded. You get knocked out on your job. It's recorded. You get fired from your job. You get arrested at your job. I introduced him, mama. I said, I gave a whole background, mama. I got him. I got him, mama. I got him. Thank you, though. That's my editor-in-chief. I told you. Before I started the show, I said my mom is my editor-in-chief. She's the person that tell me, look, you got to make sure that people know what's going on. So shout out to mama. Thank you, mom. But yeah, man, he got slumped, man. Like, I can't get jiggy with this. Like, I cannot get jiggy with that. All right? I cannot get jiggy with this idea of starting fights that you can't win. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So with that in mind, I'm going to move on. If you got a funny story about getting knocked out at your job, please call in. This is a great time. I doubt highly that anybody's going to call in with that one. But if you are interested, the number is 843-900-6847. That's 843-900-6847. Yeah, that's if you have a story about getting knocked out at your job, please call it. Please call in and share that one. Don't call in and say that you knocked somebody out on your job. But if you get knocked out on your job, yeah, man. Thank God for recording for real. Because, if he tries to sue, all I would do, I would walk in. I wouldn't need a lawyer. I would walk in there by myself, and I'd press play on my phone, and then I just walk out. That'd be the whole video. So if you got knocked out on your job, please call in and 843-900-6847 and share your stories about getting knocked out on your job. I got all the time in the world for people's stories about getting knocked out on your job. Like, if you got one of those stories, please call in. Yo, anyway, man. So moving on, I want to talk about some other stuff. So I haven't talked about this guy in quite some time. I've laid off of him because of the fact that no, Don. Oh, you got knocked out with a basketball. Oh no. This is true. You are live on Real Talk with Rajan. Who we have on the air?
This is your mom.
Oh, my mom. We got to do a weekly segment when mom calls in. What's up, mom?
Well, I didn't get knocked out on my job, but I knocked somebody out on their job.
Okay. My mom is about to talk about knocking somebody out in the job. Go ahead, mom. Go ahead.
Well, okay. So, you know that liquor store that's right by Chuck E. Cheese?
I do, yes.
In West Ashley?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so one day I went there, and there was this lady that I was standing to the register, and I had already had my stuff at the counter, and this lady came in, and she was upset for some reason. I don't know if it was her day off or I don't know, but she came to work, and I was at the register. The girl had already taken my debit card, and she took her purse, and she slammed it down in front of me. And I looked at the person that I was with, and I was like, oh, no. So she looked at me, and she said, What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I didn't pay her no attention. The girl went to give me my debit card back and give me the pen to sign the slip, and she snatched the pen out of my hand.
Oh, no.
And I reached back, and I said, pow! I knocked her glasses flying, and I knocked her tooth out of her mouth. Sorry, love you. Bye.
Love you, Mom. Bye. I've never heard that story. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Yo, I hope y'all heard that story. I hope it wasn't too low. Please tell me y'all heard that story. Yo, so yo, that is so funny. My mom, oh my God, that's funny. I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. That is so funny. I did not know my mom knocked somebody out at their job. Oh, that's so funny. Mama, come on, man. Oh, Jesus. Everybody's laughing. All That is so funny. Man, that's funny. Wow. Wow. That came out of nowhere. So that's going to be a special segment. Like I'm definitely going to be making that its own segment for our Real Talk Minutes. So, yeah, shout out to my mom for sharing her story, man. If you knock somebody out at their job, you want to call in and talk about it, I'll open the lines up for it, 843-900-6847. Yo, I had no idea that was coming. Box them off. Box them off. My mama box them off. Hilarious. Oh, that's funny. Box him in his mouth. My mama box him in his mouth. Wow. Okay, I didn't see that coming. Jesus. Hold on. Let me get my bearings, man. That is hysterical. That is hysterical. Anyway, transitioning on. My mama called in with a story. Transitioning on. Like I said, I didn't want, my show to become Bash Donald Trump Central. I didn't want it to be like it can get really tedious talking about the same things every week. So I went away from talking about President Trump and all things Trump related until today. And I brought it back. Why? Because our president, once again, has found a way to show the world the worst parts of who we are as a country. Now, you may feel how you feel about, America's relationship with the country of Great Britain. Wow. Karen, you just missed a great story. We may feel how we feel about the United States relationship with Great Britain. But one thing we definitely know, though, especially since maybe World War I, definitely, is that we found Great Britain to be an amazing ally when it comes to wars and aiding other countries and working together. So, I need a Real Talk Cup. That needs to happen. But this week, President Trump went to Great Britain to meet with the Queen, and apparently it didn't go well. I got the article from the USA Today, and the article is written by Maria Puente of the USA Today, and it says Twitter counts the ways that President Trump insulted Queen Elizabeth. Yes, President Trump insulted Queen Elizabeth. All right. So, reading from the article, it says before President Donald Trump met Queen Elizabeth II on Friday, British anti-Trump protesters warned it would not turn out well. Now that the meeting is over, they're counting the ways that the POTUS has insulted their beloved monarch. And of course, this discussion is taking place on Trump's favorite platform, Twitter. So, one thing is, if you haven't checked out the demonstrations that were happening against President Trump, the anti-Trump demonstrations that were going on in Great Britain, it was kind of amazing. Like, it's a lot of people. And which is also weird is that more people showed up by number at the anti-Trump rally in Great Britain than showed up at the Trump inauguration. Ugh. But yeah, that's not great. That's not great for him at all. So just to look at the different critiques that happened. All right. So they say, okay, so there's a few things that happened that they had issues with. So let's see. Matthew McGregor says, I'm not a monarchist by any stretch of the imagination, but this is such an insult to Britain. Absolutely classless, clueless, thoughtless, and lacking in any dignity without a shred of respect. Now, with that's when President Trump was walking ahead of Queen Elizabeth, and he turns his back on her, which is something that you don't do in Great Britain. You don't do that. So another thing is so again, feel how you feel about other countries' traditions or whatever, or being America or American exceptionalism or whatever. But when you're in somebody else's country, you respect the country's rules. And it's considered impolite to turn one's back to the monarch or walk in front of her. He did both, which shows that the dude, like just common things that people who normally deal with diplomats, foreign diplomats, should know, he lacks, which is troublesome. Let's see. Donald Trump expects the Queen's guards as they stand outside of the Windsor Castle. Now, I'm just reading from the tweets that are coming out here. Okay, it says, sorry. So that was the main thing. The main thing is him walking. And then he also he didn't keep the Queen waiting. Oh, he was late. That was the other thing. He was late. He was late to the meeting. So you're late to the meeting with the Queen. And then after you're late to the meeting with the Queen, you are disrespectful. Like, man, like you can't do that stuff, man. Like you really can't do that stuff. So once again, President Trump shows, you know, the term ugly Americans. Like that's something that's known throughout the world. Outside of America, the way we're viewed a lot of times is as ugly Americans. And it's because we as a country don't have a lot of respect for other countries' greatness in a lot of cases. And this is just being honest. This is me being honest. And for those who know me, they know, even if you don't know me, you should know that I'm a veteran of the United States Army. I serve my country. I love my country, and I hope to represent my country one day in legislation, but in the legislator's office. As a legislator, that's what I meant to say, as a legislator. But when something's wrong, it's wrong, right? When something's wrong, it's wrong. And this is wrong. When we go to other people's countries, we got to have respect for those people's countries' customs, just like we want them to have respect for our customs. And he didn't. Like, so, you know, if you're mad about it, fight me. Like, I'm, you know, I don't work at the airport. Or the liquor store, mama. Hysterical. But yeah, so that's, you know, that's what's going on with that. It's not a good look for our country that we have our president out here in these streets, not following customs of Queen Elizabeth, who's been pretty supportive of the United States of America in her time as Queen of England. So shout out to her. Shout out to the country of England and the Empire of Great Britain. Shout out to all y'all. You know what you do. Do what you do. Love how you love. Yeah, I think I want to talk about one more thing before I go into my close. And it's the World Cup, right? So the World Cup just ended today. Shout out to France. I don't know the French national anthem, but Laissez bon temps. That's not French. That's French, but it's more Creole. Laissez bon temps roulette. Let the good times roll. Yeah, let the good times roll. French. Viva la France. All right, they just won the World Cup. Shout out to France for winning the 2018 World Cup. They beat Croatia in an amazing game. It was a really, really good game, which is actually pretty interesting because of the fact that the whole game was like, it was back and forth. Like in the beginning, it was really Croatia. It was really Croatia that had the control of the game. But like as the game went on, it just got more and more and more France led, and they just played so well. They did a great job. Playing and winning. They played winning football, as they say in other countries. Played winning football, and they came out with the win. So shout out to France. And this is a moment of transparency for me, and I gotta be honest with y'all because Ms. Regine Lewis does not lie to you. I will never ever lie to you. One, I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend like I know a whole lot about soccer, because I don't. I don't know a lot about soccer, and I'm not ashamed of it, okay? Because I didn't grow up playing soccer. I grew up playing basketball. If you want to talk about basketball, I know everything about basketball. You want to talk about football? I know a whole lot about football. Anyway, so going into the game, I said, I'm going to watch the World Cup finale because I don't have anything to do right now, and I'm just sitting around the house. So I was sitting around the house. I turned on the game, and I said, you know what? Croatia's the underdog. I'm going to pull for Croatia. Croatia. And then the people from both teams came out on the field. And I looked at the teams, and I realized the players of African descent are not on the Croatian team. Now, I don't know if there are just no African descent people, like there's no African Croatians in these here Croatian streets. But me, myself, and I couldn't wholeheartedly root for a team that had no black people on it. I don't know. It's not being racist, y'all. It's just the way I felt about it at the time. And I hope you understand. I hope you understand my heart. I love all of you. You all are great to me. Y'all know what time it is. But I cannot, in good conscience, watch the French team, which had like 6 black people, and then like the Croatian team that had no black people, which they're the underdog, and I really wanted to pull for the underdog, but I couldn't pull for Croatia. I'm sorry. Just couldn't do it. So I switched my allegiance to France before the game started, and I was Team France from that point on. Even though I really wanted Croatia to really make it close, and I wanted to go, because I wanted the underdog to have a chance. Like, even though I had my allegiances to, the French players. Speaking of which, hold on, let me back up. How many black people are there in France? Like, there are a large population of African people of African descent in France, because when they did like a shot of the crowd celebrating France, like I never thought of French people. I've never thought of that. Like, I didn't realize there was that many people of African descent in France. Like, dead serious. Like, that's kind of crazy to me. So now I want to go to France and meet like my kinsmen in France. And this goes back to my discussion from last week. Remember we talked last week about the way that black people feel ownership of other black people? It was sort of like that. It was like, these are members of my family, even though I don't know any of these people, but I feel that exact same way when I see black people on Family Feud, or I see black people on The Price is Right. Just being honest, like, this is something that is straight up a fact of life. Like, I know that my Caucasian brethren and sisterin don't really grasp this concept, but we really do. We really do. We really do this. Like, this is something we actually do. And it's not just me. This is not like a revelation to other black people that I felt this way. Because I'm pretty sure that there were other black people who looked at it and was like, oh, hold up. There's no black people on the Croatian team. We can't do this. So yeah, so shout out to that. Karen, I see you. It's because they're Team Disney. No, they are not Team Disney. Disneyland Paris. Boo Disney. One day I'm gonna do a show on Disneyland on Disney World and Disneyland versus Universal Studios. Speaking of which, just to give you a snippet, Universal's better. Fight me. I don't work at the airport or the liquor store, so you're not knocking me out. Anyway, but yeah, it is a cultural thing, man. And it's not, there's no shade on, people of other races, and because I love all people, like I really do, man. I really do love all people, and I take pride in my love of all people. But when I see a black person on Family Feud, like, I'd be like, please win, or at least don't make us look really bad. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to look stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because then that might have been the only black people that some people have seen. And then they're going to say, oh, well, that black person on Family Feud was dumb, so he must be dumb too. And if you went up on Rajon thinking Rajon is dumb, you in for a real rude awakening. I'm just telling you, that's not the way to approach the kid. That is not the way to approach the guy. Yeah, so shout out to France, Viva la France, and shout out to Croatia for playing hard. Those guys played hard for 95 minutes, man. Like, that's running up and down a field for 95 minutes is not at all like nonstop, no breaks, one break in the middle. Like, come on, man. Like, that's amazing. Like, so shout out to everybody who played in the World Cup. Hopefully next time we have the World Cup, it's gonna be in Qatar, a place that I spent a year of my life. Love Qatar, got mad love for Qatar. If y'all want, thank you for saying this is a nice shirt. If you guys want to do something nice for me for my birthday or something, get me World Cup tickets to Qatar. Also get me plane tickets to Qatar, because those tickets are kind of expensive. And right now, the way my bank account set up, I got a check-in and a savings. And anyway, did you see on FF? I don't know what FF means. Family Feud. Oh, yeah. Man, did you see a Family Feud? Like, can we make that happen? As long as I can be the team captain. Like, I want to be the team captain. All right. So we talk offline about our DGC Family Feud team, but I think we could have a raw Family Feud team because we got like some really dope thinkers. So that would be dope. Anyway, moving on. Thank you guys for watching tonight, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get into my close. So I was gonna talk about finding opportunities for children to go to college, which is something I'm very serious about. As an educator, that's something I'm very serious about. But I sort of want to change pace. I sort of want to change direction, and I want to talk about this. I want to talk about what's going on in downtown Charleston, and I want to talk about it from this standpoint because I have a lot of people, a lot of friends that are involved in what's going on downtown. So I wanted to take some time to close by talking about this. For those who don't know, there's a situation with an ordinance that was put in place 10 years ago, which people refer to as the Rose Ordinance. It's not actually called the Rose Ordinance. It's a part of an ordinance that they use to try to stop and curtail crime and manage the young men who are selling roses downtown Charleston. Like I said, I've done a major video about this. If you want to check that video out, please check it out. But I wanted to go from this standpoint right here. I want to talk about laws in our country because we are a country of laws. And I do believe in following the law. I believe in obeying the law, but I also believe that if a law is unjust, that the people have the responsibility to get that law thrown out. So I want to say this in my close. I want to say that if we have an issue with what the laws are, whatever route you decide to take to get those laws changed, I feel you. Like, I feel you. In my heart, I feel you. Am I always going to agree with your methods to get those laws changed? No. You're going to do what you do. I'm going to do what I do. But I don't have to tear you down to state my opinion. And I think that's the thing that we have to make sure that we keep in mind. All of us that are our brothers and sisters in this struggle for equality, because that's what it always is. When you have laws that are written that target young people of African American descent, and that's what this thing is. Like the way the law is written, it targets young African American people. It's boys, especially, mostly boys, and but girls are also included in it as well. But when you have a law that unfairly targets people, like that's not cool. That's not cool. So the things that we're gonna do, like we're gonna do the things that we feel like need to be done to get that law changed. But to do those things and to have those things come together, in a way that is productive and effective for the larger community, we gotta be able to be respectful to one another. Because if we're so busy fighting one another, we're never going to achieve the ends that we seek to achieve. You know, the one way that they were able to slow down the civil rights movement was to have the leaders of the civil rights movement fighting against one another. And I see so many people with so many great ideas, with so much intellect, and so much that they could offer. What up, Joey? So much that they could offer to the community, who are fighting one another. A whole lot of infighting, a whole lot of bickering. And it's not good. It's not good. I will engage anyone who's interested in a discussion about the laws or how the laws need to change or disagreements with what the law says even. I will engage anybody. But what I will not do, what I will never do, and what I don't encourage anyone to do is to get into online bickering. Because online bickering, this social media thing, it just tears us apart when it's not used correctly. It's a tool. I talk about this. I've spoken about this several times. Social media is a tool. And just like any tool, it can be used for good. It can be used for evil. It can be used to build, or it can be used to destroy. And if you want to have a discussion with me about, your feelings on a certain law or a certain piece of legislation or the way things are going down or, that kind of thing, if you really wanted to talk to somebody, it's really easy to say, hey, what's your phone number? Let's talk. Or, hey, let's meet at X location and have a discussion. But we don't do that. We're not doing that. What's happening is we're getting on here and we're bickering back and forth. And as soon as somebody tries to do that with me, I tell them, you have my phone number, especially if it's somebody I know. If you want to talk to me, you talk to me. But don't get on social media and attack me. Because I never use social media to attack you. And not that I have been attacked, but I have seen my brothers and sisters attacked. I have seen people that I care about attacked. And I've seen people that I care about attacking. And just for me, I don't see that as the way forward. I don't see that as the way forward. I see that as a way to get attention. If what you want is attention, then you got it. Because people want to watch you argue. But they're not gonna come out of that with solutions. They're not gonna come out with that with a way forward. They're not gonna come out of that with a way to solve the problem. What they're gonna come out of it with is they don't get along. See, that's why we can't work with them. They don't even get along with each other. How can you help other people if you can't? How can you find I'm missing the word. How can you find middle ground with somebody that you completely disagree with if you can't even agree with somebody who you actually do agree with? You can't be civil to people who you actually agree with. How are you gonna find middle ground? How are you doing that? So I only ask that people who consider themselves leaders to be leaders. You know, I don't expect the president of the United States to be having Twitter beef. Though we have that situation and it's sad. But I will never engage in that. And I hope my brothers and sisters in the struggle, and I do consider all of you brothers and sisters in the struggle. I consider all of you brothers and sisters in the struggle. I hope that all of you find the wherewithal to say, if I have a disagreement with somebody, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call them. Or I'm going to inbox them and get their information so that we're having a one-on-one discussion. Because it's a whole lot easier to have that discussion with somebody. It's usually a whole lot more polite when you don't have an audience. And that's what a lot of people want. They want an audience. They want people to see them. So if you're in the revolution because you wish to be seen, that's a whole nother issue for a whole nother day. But I am definitely here for changing that ordinance and seeing that ordinance change. And I'm willing to work with and speak to anybody who's interested in being civil and speaking about it civilly. But what I'm never, ever going to do is engage in bickering, because bickering is not productive or effective in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And that is real talk. And with that, I'm gonna close. Thank you so much for watching this week, and reminder that this show is now split into 2 parts. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m., I interview my local celebrities, and on Sundays at 7 p.m. is my normal live show. This week's local celebrity spotlight will shine on my good homeboy, Antonio Pope II, and his new team, his new semi-pro team, the Charleston Panthers. Join us this week as we find out about what their plans are for the community and how it's going to impact the Low Country as a whole. I also plan on having Somerville native, Joe Nice, the national recording artist, Joe Nice, on the show. We didn't get him on last week, but we will get him on this week sometime. Don't know what day yet, but I will. If you are doing something in the community that you would like this light shined on, please reach out to me via the Real Talk lines. That's 843-900-6847, or at realtalkwiththejean@gmail.com so that we can discuss getting you on the show. If you'd like to be made aware of when I go live, because sometimes it is unscheduled, please be sure to click the follow tab on the page and turn on notifications so that you will know when something new has been posted on the page. I have been doing the Minute to Win It series, where I do 1 minute of motivation, inspiration, agitation, if you will. And it's something I really enjoy doing. I do those unscheduled, and I do pop them up. They're less than 1 minute, and it's just to be like a little kick in the pants to keep you going. In the meantime, please follow me on social media to stay up to date on what's happening with Real Talk with Rajan. On Twitter, I'm at Real Talk Rajan. On Facebook, I am at Real Talk with Rajan. On YouTube, I am at Real Talk with Rajan. On Periscope, I am at Real Talk Rajan. on Instagram, I am on Real Talk. I am at Real Talk Rajan. Also, you can follow my podcast. I'm now on Apple Play. Also on Apple Music, iTunes, podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Anchor. I'm a lot of places. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do not have enough YouTube subscribers. Please, if you have not subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, go to Real Talk with Rajan on YouTube and subscribe to my channel because I need to get my followers up. Just being real with you. I am accepting invitations for speaking engagements and event hosting opportunities. If you would like for me to speak at or host your event, you can request me through my Facebook page, or you can email me at realtalkwithrajan@gmail.com. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. It's been amazing having this opportunity to have this dialogue with you guys. It's so important. It's so important. I can't thank you enough. So thank you, love, peace, and everything else. So in closing, always remember that if a man doesn't stand for something, he will fall for what? That's right, anything. Now that's Real Talk. See you next week. Thank you for growing with me. Peace.